Hello, Saints Nation. Welcome to the CCA Summer Series Week 2. My name is Nicholas Kermit Malosh. Beside me, we got Dan Banner, also known as Mr. Danners. Man, today's going to be a ride. It's going to be full of emotion. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing well, quite excited, and how you explain this is going to end up being a ride one way or another. I completely agree. I mean, it is basically a meme at this point where I keep on saying that this is going to be a close match on paper, but in all reality, this should be, but this is the first time I would say we're in the underdog seat for it, though, as Northwood has always been a pain in our side, to say the least.
Yeah, and I mean, especially with this squad, we got some pretty solid, good players here. Northwood there a couple months ago, about two months ago, I think, won the UGC championship, which that's a major championship right there. That's one of the top championships you can have. And again, there's this other player. I've known him for a couple years now from the RLCS. He played for Team Secret, and his name is Hockey. That's just he's a great player.
So is he an expert in the extra mode, the hockey arena that one? If only that was actually more competitive, that'd be kind of funny. But no, in all honesty, though, like you're saying, it's interesting that we get into the position because this isn't the first time we've had to play up against like our LCS talent or past RCLS talent here in collegiate, but this is happening more and more because of the CCA Summer Series. Of course, for those who may get lost in the amount of leagues that we tend to get ourselves into here in the varsity side of things, this one is basically as elite as it gets, so to speak. Multiple qualifiers, and even amongst those qualifiers, like, oh, are you Division 1 or are you Division 2? Like, they split it up extremely heavily. We happen to be in Division 1, and that makes this an extremely brutal series to go through. And then we have not only one Northwood team, but two here. And Northwood, of course, just being one of the teams that you expect to see at the top of the standings. Speaking of the standings, going to quickly throw it on over as we do have our group all here up in one. And it's basically, it's kind of brutal. You see us here in the middle. We went 1-1. During last week, we did end up dropping to Michigan Tech, but we did beat University of Michigan. And now this is where we stand, like dead center in the middle. Yeah, for once, the Saints Gold Squad is not at the top, and it is just absolutely swarmed by Northwood, Akron, which of course is another like CRL championship level team. And speaking of swarm, the GT Swarm, there's Georgia Tech up there as well.
Yeah, there's some pretty solid teams here. I mean Friday, I'm pretty sure we go up against right below us here, Ohio State University.
Mhm.
Again, that's going to be another great matchup. We'll see how they play tonight. And you know, seeing Akron up at the top, that doesn't surprise me. The Zips, I've seen them play on the Rocket League channel on Twitch,
Mhm.
and they can compete with the best of the best in the RLCS. So having that much skill and talent on a collegiate team is just unbelievable. And then I mean Northwood is right there. Both their teams being at the top four leaderboard, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, honestly, like Northwood fans right now are absolutely just loving this, right? Seeing both teams up there, and the only reason it's second and fourth is probably just due to like game differential. They're all 1-0 at the end of the day anyway, so a fantastic start in their own rights. Although, like noting the Akron Zips squad, I do wonder if it was the same Akron Zips. It would have to be, I believe, because it was during the CCA qualifiers where our green roster went up against them and almost took them down. It was so close, game 5, but we could not quite close it out. I wonder if later on down in the line here in this in a CCA season, if we could possibly get a little bit of a revenge shot here from the Gold Squad onto Akron. But again, going to be a very, very tough squad to say the least.
Yeah, you definitely have to be playing at the top of your game and little to no mistakes. That's one of the teams where you mess up once, the game's over. They take advantage of that. So, but I mean, our focus right now is on Northwood Blue. They have a solid team, and I mean, this is another team where you make a little mistake, you're gonna pay for it. So
Oh, absolutely.
it's just that you got to take into perspective and say we can't mess up. We have to be perfect for these 5 games.
And then not only like can you not mess up, but if you have the opportunity in front of you, it's probably going to be few and far between So you have to expect, like, if somehow like Northwood does slip up, you need to strike. You need to strike now. And as you can hear, the wait is no longer. Let's hop into game number 1 as soon as this thing loads on in. I'm getting baited here a little bit here. Give us a brief little second. There we go. Sure enough, we were talking about hockey, and he's going to start things off here nicely for Northwood.
Yeah, hockey's definitely. I'm gonna say he's their best player, but definitely could be a little bit different because I haven't seen the other players. So more of a back and forth game right now, as Buddy's gonna get pushed around there. There was a little bit of something going on in front of the net. Couldn't get the ball out, but
it's definitely something to think about too, whether you get a little bit feisty even going into this game. And sure enough, right off the shot, Buddy is going to put one on the board here for Northwood White, as Pirates makes the initial shot but just gets blocked by Spoods, but you can only block so many, and that was a perfect angle there for Buddy to put Northwood on the board.
Yeah, for your Saints, that there was nobody else in net other than Spoods. You could see Jay there come in at the last second, so probably looking for boost or something. But again, you have to play more defense than worrying about boost. I know it's difficult, but against this Northwood team, you gotta make sure that you have defense.
Yeah, sometimes quarter tank is all you're going to be able to have to work with to make sure you're in proper position. As we see the Saints rushing back here, Buddy once again putting on some pressure here and annoying Jay a little bit in the corner, just holding him up constantly. And it seems to be a very common factor so far here with this Northwood White team, that they aren't afraid to just ignore the ball and just hold you in position. We've seen Jay kind of do the same thing here for St. Clair in past matches, but right now it seems like this is a factor that's benefiting Northwood more than St. Clair. As we see Jay try to make the play, but not quite going to happen. Spoods with the shot, but blocked by Pirates.
Yeah, Pirates had a big save there. As I mean, St. Clair has their opportunities, but the defense from Northwood is just unbelievable right now. As again, it's back and forth, and hockey's just gonna make an easy play here, and Thompson, and make sure it doesn't drop down in front of the net like we've seen them do plenty of times before.
And I'll tell you what, so far here in this matchup, it's been a little bit of a back and forth in regards to like which team is in possession. Maybe a little bit more in the North or in the like St. Clair defensive end, but not by a whole heck of a lot. But each of these shots, each of these plays have been way more threatening on the side of Northwood, as we see a huge shot coming out here from Pirates, but Jay is going to stop that. Spoods tries to slow it down, and to be fair, he got past all the defenders, but the shot did end up going wide. Hockey now, little flip reset to kind of try to push this thing out. Spoods not going to let that happen, but then all the Saints just basically resetting. They seem very cautious right now, and anytime the Saints are cautious and playing defensively, to be fair, they give up more goals than if they were playing offensively. So hopefully we see them flick the switch sometime soon.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing we've seen in the past, is when they get defensive, they don't focus on offense, so they don't put any pressure on the offense, as they're going to get an opportunity here, but Jay's there to make it save. Wow, that was close.
Hockey right in position to get the job done, but barely stopped and pushed aside. Pirates still has him in the St. Clair zone, however. Does get cleared up. Comp now just going to try and dump and chase with Jay, but not quite going to find it. Of course, Comp and Jay, those two have been playing Rocket League with each other for so dang long. They basically know exactly where each other are, even without the call-outs. But even still, Northwood seems to just have that completely glued until we finally have a clearing opportunity. Spood shot on target. It's Buddy barely going to get the save. Jay gets the rebounds, but he's not going to be able to get it past the defense from Northwood.
Yeah, Buddy denied him twice. I thought maybe that second shot had a chance, but again, all you need to do is Hawkeye's going to get an opportunity here, but he does whiff on the ball just a little wide.
Gosh, just takes that one opportunity, even if it's just a demo, like one less person on defense, and you can just get a small breakaway for yourself. Of course, it goes both sides. Northwood going back into the St. Clair zone. Spoods up there to at least let the ball stay up high, but as the ball is up high like this, that clock is ticking. It does not care about opportunities. It is just draining here and putting the St. Clair Saints in the hot seat to try and make something happen. Hockey tries to bring it back on in. Jay does juke out the one player, but is going to get cleared out very quickly after that.
Yeah, Saints are going to try and get a little bit of control, as that's a center, but Hockey's going to get a shot on goal here, and that's going to give Northwood a 2-goal lead.
Beautifully done there from Northwood. Hockey just had himself the opportunity. Good guy, Buddy, to just let that one go in. Saints, I was saying how they need to get offensive, and they all in, and it just absolutely bit them, as there is no defense in the background to try and stop that straight clear. And now they have 2 goals to try and make up here. Jay, one-timer shot, however. Beautiful pass from Comp, and we're going to get this within 1. This is doable.
Absolutely. 8 seconds from the last goal, and you put one in like that. They definitely need another one, but so with 34 seconds left, you have plenty of time, but you also have to make sure that Northwood doesn't score again. So it's definitely one of those things that you have to play more aggressively. Right now, you're not in the best position, so I'd say full on offense and, you know, go for the win. Go for the tie.
This could very well be the shot necessary. Jay had it on target, but Buddy does push it aside. Spood's going to send this one right back on in, but Buddy is being an absolute enforcer in the midfield, shutting any sort of follow-up down, meaning the Saints are going to have to result in a buzzer beater, and Pirates did a fantastic job of clearing this right back into the St. Clair zone, so it's going to have to go downtown if anything, and it's not going to be the case. Beautifully done from Northwood White as they are able, or Northwood Blue rather, to clutch this one up.
Yeah, definitely. Offense from both sides were really good. And, I mean, the last goal there, Jay was beat in the aerial, the last goal for Northwood. They were going for the aerial, but he was just under the ball too much and didn't get any contact on it. So he's got to be a little bit more, he's got to try to beat him to the ball more. As, I mean, that's basically all this is if you beat it to the ball, then you're probably going to have a good opportunity.
That's just it. You can't put it towards the net if you're not the one necessarily making the plays yourself, right? You got a challenge, as we do see Jay here. Let's try and make a play into the Northwood zone. However, it does get pushed aside. Hockey going to carry it out until the Saints try to regroup it here in the corner where Spoots passes it off to Jay. This is going towards the Northwood net, but it's going to be pushed aside by Buddy before it gets anywhere near the danger zone. And Hockey now, we know this guy's got moves. We know he can play it on the ground or in the air. It does not matter. And he put it on forward, but not quite going to get anything done this time by. Pirates going to stop it in the midfield, and now Jay forced to get it back in the St. Clair zone.
These passing plays from Northwood, that is on the line.
Oh.
Saints got away with one so far. Oh, man.
That was scary. It's still not safe right now here for Saints. They are absolutely frantic to try and keep this as a 0-0 game. Spoods finds himself an opportunity, though. Breakout play off the backboard. Jay is there, but he cannot knock the ball down. Comp now off the rooftops. Can he find himself a double touch? Going to be denied. So it's going to force Spoods to come on in. Shot on target. Going to be blocked by Hockey. And now with Jay trying to challenge. There's a lot of one-on-ones happening here, and right now Northwood seems to have gotten the best of it. Sends it right back into the St. Clair zone.
As you can see, St. Clair's offense, they had a few solid opportunities, just the players weren't lined up properly for those chances to take place. But again, St. Clair is looking better on the offense. They don't look as nervous, so I think they'll have a better opportunity to win game number 2 than they did in game number 1.
Well, I'll tell you what, my commentator's curse as of right now, at least for the Saints side of things, saying that this was going to be a close game. At least if there is a blowout, it's not going to be Saints favored, which means we need this curse to be completely broken and see if our Saints can get themselves back on the board nice and quick. Still a tied game at 0. The Northwood, solid opportunity. Gets the shot off, but did get blocked out pretty quickly. Comp's going to try and challenge. No, it's going to be Jay, actually. Try to challenge, but nice little punch there from Buddy to send it over his head. Now, just a bit of a ping-pong match in the midfield zone. Hang on a second. Here comes Pirates and Buddy, but the shot is going to be denied by Spoods.
The team chemistry from Northwood right now is ridiculous. The passing plays, I'm going to let you take it. I don't know how they're communicating right now, so that's probably a huge thing. But also just not just taking. They're giving a lot more, and it's turning into really good opportunities.
Of course, the interesting thing about this Northwood squad is I believe it's either Buddy and Hockey or Pirates and Hockey. Not only do they play on Northwood, of course, but they also play on Team Nefarious, which is going towards like amateur league stuff, like B-level, like Rocket League. So they play with each other constantly. So how I was just giving Comp and Jay props about, like, they've been playing with each other for a long time. It's the same thing with this Northwood squad. So lots of teams both these teams with tons of experience, and there is absolutely no loss of communication between both squads.
Yeah, so that's why we were thinking it's going to be close on paper, and we did a little bit of digging, and Saints are a little bit of the underdog, but
Which
that
is
doesn't
weird.
stop the Saints. Yeah, absolutely. From the games that we've seen this year, that we're not always or often the underdog, so it's good to see and good to see how they perform.
And we can see Northwood make the push towards the net. Going to be pushed aside by Spoods for at least a second. Looks for Jay. Redirection towards the center, but who's got the follow-up? Jay was right there, but could not quite get there. So Comp's going to be the lone player back to make the save. Double demos coming down here, and it's going to be Pirates, who absolutely clutches it up here for Northwood Blue after Buddy takes it to the backboard. And even though players are getting demoed, in fact, actually Buddy got the better of that demo as well. Took one defender off the board. 1-0 Northwood Blue to try and go up 2-0 here in this series.
Yeah, Spoods was almost going to save that, but one of the players from Northwood were in the net and just launched him out of the net, so there was no opportunity there. And Saints are back down by 1, so we'll see what kind of opportunities they can pull off here. And I mean, there's still a minute left, so they got a little bit more time than what they did have last game, but again, they need to do it now or else they're going to be down 0-2.
Yeah, of course, came a little bit short the first time by with 30 seconds left, but with now 50, they're still stuck in their zone, and they could not get a handle on it. Pirates going to find his second goal of this game to basically put a little extra insurance here on this second game.
You could see right there, that is one mistake you do not want to do, and the triple commit from Saints that's not what you want to do, and unfortunately they're down 2-0 now with 45 seconds left.
And of course, still definitely doable, especially if Spoods wants to pop off like that. Holy moly, he takes to the skies all by himself and puts it right into the back of the net. Beautifully done. That's what you need to show up, but you still have 43 seconds to try and tie this up.
We are in the same spot last game. Down by 1, 43 seconds left. Last game was 42 seconds. So, I mean, we're almost in the same boat. Maybe that extra second will change something here.
Yeah, though it's going right back towards the Saints net, and it was on target hockey. That is the insurance then that they need again. They had to reapply their insurance plan, to say the least here, but Pirates send it off to hockey, and that clear was like pixel perfect there from hockey to put it just on the inside of that right post. And now there's 30 seconds to try and tie it up with 2. That's a tough task, to say the least.
Yeah, you only scored 1 goal in 5 minutes, so now you need to score 2 goals in 20 seconds, so it's definitely harder. So, I mean, they do have a chance. They just got to make sure they hit their shots, but we're coming down to it. 15 seconds left. That's going to be shot on goal. Comp's there to make a huge save on the line, but that's going to end game number 2. Northwood's going to take this one.
As soon as it hits the ground one more time, that will do the trick, and it's going to be right there. Pirates going to finish the job here. So we have Northwood now putting Saints on the hot seat as they go up 2 in this best of 5. And just as of right now, it is looking like the streak here of Northwood constantly being able to take care of the St. Clair Saints Rocket League squad is going to continue. But that being said, of course, we now have to find ourselves a reverse sweep, which is definitely going to be a heck of a challenge. We're going to be hopping into Game 3 just momentarily here. These guys not wasting any time, which is actually something I'm kind of curious about. If you're getting beat up a little bit, wouldn't you think it'd be wise to maybe like use up that full 5 minutes, maybe take a timeout or something?
You would think that, okay, we're getting beat. Not badly, but we're still getting beat. We need to do something. Let's take a breather, calm down, and we need Northwood to play our game of Rocket League. As that's going to be a shot on goal, but Spoods is going to carry that off to the corner.
Yeah, it's something across most esports in general, it seems. Like, people just constantly, like, into the next game, they let the momentum flow. But hang on a second, Comp with a shot that would have been on target, but a nice little redirection here from hockey. Pass over to Spoods, going to go up high. Jay's going to be forced to chase in the corner.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, you'd think they would want a little break to maybe try to slow down the momentum as Northwood gets an opportunity here. Ooh. But still gonna have a chance here as Saints are not going to clear that, but Spood's up in there. That's going to try to redirect it, but just whiffed on that a little bit.
That could have been dangerous there on both regards, to be honest. But now we see a breakout here for Northwood once again in the corner of the Saints. But we do see Spoods trying to make a play. One player down. Comp with the shot. Stopped by Hockey. Rebound is going to be stopped by Hockey as well. And now he may have an opportunity for himself to maybe get a passing play set up. Never mind. He's going to get the demo play. Take care of Comp, who's been notorious here for the Saints of playing like defensively and kind of filling that goaltender role more often than not. So taking him off the board could have been scary. Nice shot on target, going to be pushed aside. And now Saints with the opportunity to break out.
Yeah, Spoods is going to try and, not what I was expecting. They do get a shot on goal, but redirected wide. Saints cannot get a break for anything as Jay does win that one-on-one there. And again, it's just back and forth. Once Saints get it in the zone, Northwood's defense is right there to say, no, not today. We're not letting that happen.
Going right back now into this Northwood zone, try and get this thing just anywhere close. We see Jay, centering opportunity, going to be picked up nicely by Hockey, however. What normally would be a very devastating centering pass, Hockey just pushes aside like it's no big deal. When you're so comfortable in the skies like Northwood in general is, but especially Hockey, it just makes anywhere on the map deadly, and this is brutal, buddy. He is going to put Northwood on the board once again first, and Saints are going to have to try and come back from behind, because now it's Northwood with the 1-0 lead.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate ball touch there. Not the way you wanted it to go. Two players there, that's what even makes it more, hurts a little bit more. There's nobody really on defense. That's going to be a shot on goal, but Jay's there to kick it away.
Still kind of stuck in the St. Clair zone for a second. We see Comp looking to try and find Spoods. High ball into the corner of Northwood. Buddy misses his mark, however. This could give Spoods the opportunity to break out. Pirates forced to come on up as well. Centering pass. Going to be challenged by Hockey. Comp did not get as much of that as he would have wanted. So now Saints going to have to run back and try to play the defensive option. As Buddy, he's coming in hot. The meteorite slow drop, actually, from going in quick to just stopping in his tracks, basically, to try and make a centering pass. Not going to happen. But now, Saints in the corner, and just, you can't stop Hockey right now. He's just constantly clearing the ball and setting everything up here for Northwood.
Yeah, just the way he knows the cars and the mechanics, it just puts him at a higher advantage than anybody. That's going to be a shot on goal, but Comp, again, with another save. And it's just Hockey's mechanics are just at another level. Saints gonna get a shot here, but Buddy with a save.
The sense of urgency now here for the St. Clair Saints goal squad is just really starting to become more and more apparent, with all three of them crossing that center line, trying to get involved with the plays. But they don't have a whole heck of a lot of time now, and they have to try not to overextend either, like we were saying before. But it's definitely a tough task. Just over a minute left on the clock, and I like what Buddy's doing. I don't have to score right now, so why bother? I'm just going to sit here and wait for you to challenge me before making the play. That's like 5 extra seconds that he just killed by just hanging on for a second, and that very well could be the difference maker as we see a centering attempt go awry and actually turn into a play for Northwood.
Yeah, Buddy's looking for the demo there, trying to take the goalie out. But, gonna get a shot here. Just a little wide, though. Jay not really winning that 50-50 as they try to clear it, but Pirates is there to keep it in the Saints' end. Saints have 30 seconds to tie this game, or it's all over.
Yep, Saints now or never, and Buddy just keeping it to the skies once again. Of course, like I was saying time and time again before, if you want to kill time, just keep it up in the rooftops, keep it up in the air. And then, of course, Hockey was doing fantastic all series long of just constantly keeping the ball cleared. Has Saints on their last breath here, 7 seconds and counting. Hockey in possession just puts it up high over the net in the skies once again. Jay, possibly the last hope here for Saints to make the play, and it's going to be denied. It did not touch, actually. Spoods up into the sky. There is still an opportunity for a tying goal. It's going towards the center, but who else but Hockey to absolutely shut things down. St. Clair going to fall to Northwood University Blue in 3-0 fashion, and unfortunately, this is a close game on paper. Was a blowout the other way around.
But St. Clair played well.
Which is fair.
They only kept it within, I think there was 3-1. I could be mistaken, but I think their worst loss was 3-1. The other one two games were a 1-goal game. So I mean,
Mhm.
they can compete. They just didn't have the opportunities, and they weren't. They didn't look like they were playing how they normally do together. So I don't know if the pressure, like knowing how strong Northwood Blue is, and saying they have good players on their team. I don't know how that.
Absolutely, it's not necessarily a loss that we could really get upset about, and it just goes to show how strong this Northwood University Blue squad. The fact they have two is just nuts, but how strong Northwood is in general here in Rocket League as of late. Considering yes, they have past our LCS players, players that are actively in like tier two amateur Rocket League. They're just absolutely crushing it there. Everybody on the side of Northwood is absolutely shining today. I know we mentioned Hockey quite a bit for his ability to be both defensive and stopping the plays, but also like the playmaker of sorts. But then, of course, everybody else just had their opportunities there. Buddy, always the enforcer of sorts too, which may seem like such a little thing, but it makes definitely a big difference.
Yeah, there's a few times there that Buddy came in clutch with a few demos, and I mean, those demos led to goals and led to opportunities. So the more you do that, you just don't want to pinch where if you get a demo, sure you got to the demo, but now maybe there's a 2-on-2 and the other team has the opportunity. But I mean, brilliant playing by Northwood altogether.
Yeah, and of course, props to our Saints as well, like you were saying before. They definitely showed that they can keep up with them. But I definitely will agree that it felt like we weren't watching a Saints game that game. But that being said, anything that isn't a 3-0 in our favor doesn't feel like much of a Saints game from what we've seen so far in this summer series, and it's going to take some getting used to. Because to be fair, not every single league is going to let us roll all over like a pig in mud and just laugh all the way to the victory. But CCA, of course, this is going to be a much different series, and it's showing here today. Once again, we're still kind of hovering around that middle section, going 1 and 2, but we do have ourselves a double header of sorts. Not tonight, but if you join us tomorrow, of course, we do have another matchup here for this CCA squad here with our St. Clair College Gold squad going up against Ohio State University. Another one of those teams that we don't really have actually much knowledge about because they haven't quite played their game yet. I think today would be their first scheduled match. So it's definitely something I'm going to be keeping my eye on, and we get to go up against them tomorrow, 8 o'clock right here on the same Twitch channel here, Saints Gaming CA. So definitely make sure you are followed so you don't miss this one live, because it's definitely going to be one you don't want to miss out on. See if our Saints can get back to 2 and 2.
Yeah, I have no idea what to expect for tomorrow. I'll keep an eye on that game tonight, but again, that's could be either way, blowout close or blowout for the other team. So I'm not sure. So we'll have to see who they play against tonight and how they do and what the end of the score is.
Yes, if there's one thing I've learned today is I just have to stop saying this is a close match on paper, because one way or another, it is either biting us in the regards that we just crush the competition too quickly, or it ends up being a 3-0 against us, which I wouldn't call this a crushing, but at the same time, a 3-0 is a 3-0. So, of course, big props to Northwood in that regard. But that being said, of course, big thank you to everybody for tuning in. We had quite a decent amount of people join us here for this one, which is awesome to see. Thank you for supporting your St. Clair Saints varsity esports team, your Rocket League team, whether they were family, friends, past teammates, or family or classmates, whatever it may happen to be. Thank you for supporting them on their esports endeavors, and we definitely look forward to having here more often as we get more and more into the regular season. Because again, I say it time and time again, but this is still just preseason. There is still so much more to come.
Yeah, I know you guys might be annoyed with the Rocket League, but it's again, it's the only team running right now. So again, once September hits, all those teams will start placing, and the weeks will start getting more busy.
Annoyed with Rocket League? Are you annoyed with Rocket League? Did you?
I'm not. I completely enjoy Rocket League.
Absolutely, same here as well. And of course, having the two squads also makes things extremely interesting. We'll catch up with our Saints Green team actually in the near future as I throw it over to the schedule real quick. As of course, on Wednesday, so tomorrow, that is the Ohio State game. So we'll have that right here at 8 o'clock. But then we will have a double header this Friday in OCRS action. First off, Gold is going up against Carlton Pink. So that is us leading the charge versus Carlton, who is currently third in that group. So that should be a close one. Then Friday, this is the Humber matchup that we were supposed to see last week, but it's going to feature our Saints Green squad. So we'll get to see Green competing. And Sunday, if this does end up staying the way it is, it should be Purdue versus our Gold squad, which is, of course, tied for first in the AVGL. And then, of course, as of right now, join us next Wednesday as well on the 21st as we go up against Sioux College. The Cougars in more CCA Rocket League action. Still multiple weeks of gameplay to go for across all of these, especially here for CCA. Like I'm not gonna lie, CCA right now is probably my most anticipated, to say the least, of everything. But that being said, all the action is just absolutely fantastic. So make sure you follow that so you don't miss anything.
Yeah, and I mean CCA, that's the best of the best colleges out there. So I mean, it kind of makes sense that it's the most exciting, but also the other series throw out some good matches. So
Absolutely nothing to take away from them. It just you know you know what I mean. You hang around here long enough, you know what I mean. And one final thank you or two final thank yous, of course. One to the sponsors themselves, of course, St. Clair College, Tim Hortons, St. Clair SRC, St. Clair College Alumni Association, Zeckelman School of Business and Information Technology, C Outlet, and then, of course, thank you to Nicholas Malash here for joining me on the commentary desk once again, leveling up alongside me here. You've definitely come a long way, and I hope to keep seeing you here on the desk.
absolutely, as long as there's Rocket League, I'll be here.
Well, as you can see in the schedule, there's damn well plenty. And that being said, we will then join you tomorrow for some more CCA Rocket League action at 8 o'clock. Make sure to be there. Let's see if we can get the 2-2.